We've been living carefree our entire lives, looking forward to the future that is to come. But looking at the way we are currently progressing, we might not have a future to look forward to. We blindly consume everything in our path, oblivious to the consequences that follows our actions. We take advantage of the things given to us and neglect any negative impact that our actions might cause. As an old saying goes, our actions have their way of coming back to us. So, have we doomed ourselves because of our negligence to understanding that every resource we have, may it be water, energy, or soil resources, only has a finite amount? What can we do to negate all the things that we have done and protect the things that we have left? Are we going to be able to grant the things that the future demands? There are so many questions left unanswered, all pertaining to what we can do to change the impacts of our actions. That being said, I believe we can still turn things around for the better. Good morning, everyone. My name is Gabriel C. Jansalin, a student of APEC Schools, and I represent the future generations. It is well established that we as a community consume energy. We use different types of energy in our daily lives, and it is also well established that energy plays a crucial role in the growth and development of our community. But what some of us don't know is the sources of these energies which our communities utilize. Where do they come from and how are they harnessed? Some sources of these energies are oil, natural gases, and coal, which are produced by the country. Coal is a substance that is typically found in sedimentary rock formations, which are assemblages of rock, dead plants, animal materials, and layers of silt. Oil is originally found as a solid material between layers of sedimentary rocks like shale. Typically, pockets of natural gas can be found atop oil deposits. These resources were created from the remains of deceased marine animals like plants, algae, bacteria, therefore classifying them as fossil fuels. We have different methods on how we harness these resources. For instance, coals are burned to create steam, which is then used to generate electricity at coal-fired power stations. Similarly, oil is burned to heat water and produce steam. This steam propels the blades of a turbine which is attached to a generator, which produces electricity. Coincidentally, natural gases are also burned to produce electricity. It is important to take note that natural gases consist primarily of methane. Of course, these aren't the only ways to create energy. We have solar panels, windmills, hydroelectric power plants, and geothermal power plants. Solar panels work by converting solar energy into electricity, much similar to the mechanics of windmills, which converts kinetic energy produced by the wind that turns the blades of the windmills into electricity. In hydroelectric power plants, water flows are used to move turbine blades that spins a generator, which generates electricity. The heat of the molten interior of the earth generates geothermal energy. When water is pumped for underground by geothermal power plants, it is returned as steam. The steam drives a turbine on a electric power generator to generate electricity. The energy produced by these methods is called clean or renewable energy. That being said, the process of energy creation has a huge impact on our environment since it also produces a significant amount of pollutants. Some of its effects on the environment include air pollution, climate change, water pollution, and thermal pollution. Air pollution and climate change are closely related. Air pollution is the contamination of air due to the presence of substances in the atmosphere, while climate change is the result of the said contamination. Thermal pollution is the release of heated effluents from industrial activities. These affect living organisms, especially aquatic life. Going back, as previously mentioned, we use different types of energy in our daily lives, and sometimes we get careless about how we use them. This means we spend more energy than we are supposed to, and this would cause a massive shortage if we don't produce more energy. This leads to unnecessary use of energy resources just to comply with the ever so increasing demand of the community. To conserve and protect our energy resources, I propose a few ways to mitigate the negative effects of using these energy resources. We must learn to use energy efficiently, utilize clean energy more often, conserve water, practice the 3 Rs, and reduce the usage of vehicles. Efficiently using energy and avoiding the usage of vehicles reduces expenses and carbon emissions, since power plants wouldn't have to work as hard and there would be fewer cars on the road. The same goes for utilizing clean energy since you are using sustainable energy. Most people often underestimate the contributions of the 3 Rs and water conservation to our environment, but they have already proven to have significant impact on helping our planet by reducing waste and by conserving energy. These are only a few of the ways that we could conserve and protect our energy resources. There are still other ways to achieve this goal, but let's focus on these five for now. Now that we are done talking about the conservation of energy resources, let us now move on to the topic of conserving and protecting the water resources of the Philippines, as I believe that it's a topic that is overlooked quite often. Water resources in the Philippines include rivers, lakes, and groundwaters, as well as bay, coastal, and oceanic water. Though there's enough water overall, there isn't enough in densely populated places, especially during the dry season. Water is distributed quite unevenly throughout the surface of the earth. Fresh water makes up only 3% of the water on the surface, and the other 97% is found in the ocean. Less than 1% of fresh water is found in lakes, rivers, and marshes, while 69% of it is found in glaciers and 30% is found in underground. Human activities affect the quality and availability of water. Even the activities that didn't seem to be harmful at all, activities such as farming, mining, burning of fossil fuels, stream channel alteration, animal feeding operations, and many more affect the quality of water, therefore making them unavailable for human use. Water is one of the resources that we never thought would run out, and our carelessness in using it shows that. We use water for basically everything: consumption, cleaning, agriculture, and many more. We've developed a lot of ways to use water throughout time, so I'm going to be proposing ways to save it for future generations to come. The idea of conservation relates to the act of preserving the environment or making sensible use of it. It can be accomplished in a variety of ways, such as by making minor adjustments that could have a significant impact on water conservation. You can use recycled rainwater in your house. You can utilize rainwater that's been properly collected from your home's roof and gutters for gardening, washing clothes, flushing the toilet, or even for the entire house if necessary. Small things like this may seem irrelevant compared to the grand scale of things, but everything starts small. Saving even a drop means a lot if you think about it, because every drop saved is a drop reserved for the next generation. Water and energy resources aren't the only resources that we must protect and conserve. We too consume too many soil resources in our communities. Sometimes we don't even know that we are utilizing resources that came from the soil. This is because soil resources also contains the minerals and rocks found within the earth. Our society is heavily dependent on minerals such as iron, copper, aluminum, and titanium in moving into the path of industrialization. This is why these minerals are important to our society. But how do we find ore minerals? Minerals can be located using a variety of techniques, including geochemical survey and remote sensors that use satellite pictures. The removal of many minerals then occur through mining, either surface mining or underground mining. Miners first remove the rocks from the earth when they discover that it contains mineral ores. The rock is then crushed by powerful machinery. Metal is extracted from the crushed ore by one of the two major methods, smelting or electrolysis. Smelting uses heat to separate the valuable metal from the rest of the ore, while electrolysis separates the metal from the ore by using acid and electricity. These are the ways ore minerals are processed for human use. Regardless if we are aware of it or not, our actions have a direct impact on conserving and protecting these resources. That being said, let us talk about the activities that affect the quality and availability of soil. According to my research, urban development activities can cause rapid soil degradation and sedimentation. Soil erosion and sedimentation from construction sites can be significant in quantity and in impact of off-site resources such as streams. Even farming has negative impacts on our soil. We are just not aware of it. Pesticides, fertilizers, and other harmful agricultural chemicals have the potential to contaminate fresh water, marine habitat, air, and soil. Improper waste disposal could also cause our soil to degrade due to the addition of toxic substances. In order to negate the effects of our activities on the environment and to preserve our soil resources for the next generation, we must start by changing our actions and making ways to conserve and protect our soil resources. Here are a few ways to prevent soil degradation and save our precious rocks and minerals. Conservation tillage. Conservation tillage is a broadly defined practice that includes no-till, strip-till, ridge-till, and mulch-till systems. After tillage activities, these methods keep plant residues on at least 30% of the soil surface. According to the research of Science Direct Topics, the benefits of conservation tillage are reducing soil erosion, conservation soil moisture, avoiding fluctuations of soil temperature in the arable soil depth, and reducing the cost of soil preparation. Minerals are essential for our everyday lives. It is only right that we try to protect and conserve them for the future. We could conserve minerals by minimizing the waste throughout the mining process, recycling metals, using alternative renewable substitutes, planning and sustainable use of mineral resources, and utilizing more advanced technology to make cheap use of low-grade ores. Minimizing the waste throughout the mining process reduces the number of minerals wasted. Recycling metals using scrap metals reduces the amount of metal to be produced and iron to be mined. Using alternative renewable substitutes on the minerals we use on a daily basis would significantly change our mineral consumption rate. If we were to use technology to produce products made out of low-quality minerals, it would mean that we no longer have to use high-quality minerals. High-quality minerals are much harder to find than low-quality minerals. A few moments ago, I mentioned minimizing waste in ways we could conserve minerals. Now, let's dive further into this subject, shall we? First, let's start this topic with a question. How do people in my community generate different types of waste as they make use of various materials and resources in everyday life? The production of waste is a natural byproduct of daily human existence. Waste can come from a variety of sources. This comprises rubbish or trash from homes, businesses, restaurants, markets, and other public spaces. Commonplace things like food scraps, old plastic bags, soda cans, plastic water bottles, damaged furniture, damaged home appliances, broken clothing, etc.
Just
What I stated in my introduction, people in my community generate different types of waste due to their negligence. They make use of various materials and resources in their everyday lives excessively and recklessly. They throw wrappings of their food everywhere, they dump their pets' excretions near sewers, and they use their vehicles all the time despite being close to their desired destination. These types of waste have negative effects on our health and on the environment. A prolonged period of exposure to these wastes may cause severe health problems and environmental issues. The long-term effects resulting from the increased emissions we make as a result of the amount of rubbish we produce includes asthma, birth deformities, cancer, cardiovascular disease, and many more. Poor waste collection leads to environmental and marine pollution and can block water drains, resulting in flooding and other standing waters. In waste items favor cholera and vector-borne diseases such as malaria and dengue. Methane is a potent greenhouse gas linked to climate change. It's released by landfills, which are the last resort in the waste hierarchy. Landfills may contaminate soil and water depending on how they are constructed. With so much at stake if we don't properly dispose our waste, what's stopping us from keeping our communities clean? Here are the ways of better and proper waste management for your community. The following methods are implemented in communities for proper solid waste management. 1. Direct community member engagement and accountability. 2. Tracking of waste collection and reduction. 3. Segregation of waste at a household level. 4. On-site utilization of valuable and reusable items. 5. Composting of organic waste. 6. Collection and transportation of waste to a treatment site by a public collection service. Moving forward to the methods used for managing liquid waste. Dewatering. This technique eliminates the water from the liquid waste until only solid trash is left. The water can be recycled and utilized again while the solid trash is disposed of. Sedimentation. Additionally, this method is only appropriate for non-hazardous liquid waste. In municipal sewage water treatments and garbage disposal, it is frequently the first stage. Incineration. Incineration can be used for the disposal of hazardous waste such as chemicals, scrap metals, acids, and bases in water and liquids. Root zone. Residential waste such as the water from sinks, toilets, and kitchens are the main targets of the root zone waste treatment procedure. Composting. Composting involves the use of microbes for the decomposition of organic waste present in liquids by keeping them in a pit for a long period of time. The last but not the least, solidification. By using bulking agents like fly ash, sawdust, and lime dust, liquid waste disposal firms can be easily convert liquid waste into solid garbage without increasing its volume. Last but certainly not least, methods used for managing gaseous waste. Settling chambers. This method is used to collect dust particles of sizes greater than a loom in a place called a settling chamber. The second method is filters. The simplest way to separate particles from a gas is with a filter made out of textile. When particles are 0.01 micrometer smaller, about 99% of them are filtered out. Electrostatic method. The particles are moved to the collection surface in the manner by electrostatic forces. By moving the waste gas between high voltage discharge electrodes, this is accomplished. The vast bulk of the gas particles charge up and gather on electrodes. The fourth method in gaseous waste management is absorption. This method is used for mainly gaseous pollutants like carbon dioxide. In this method, a mass of waste gases is transferred into a liquid. The last way or the last method for gaseous waste management is adsorption. In contrast to absorption, in adsorption, a solid surface chemical forces causes gas vapors or liquids to bind to it. The interior surface area of a solid directly affects how much is absorbed. These methods of waste management would surely help communities improve. By managing waste, the environment is protected from hazardous effects of inorganic and biodegradable elements included in trash. As we reach the conclusion of this TED Talk, we realize how important water, energy, and soil resources are. They play a significant role in our daily lives, providing us with the essential things we need. Not conserving and protecting our resources leads to a lot of problems for us and for the environment. We use these resources to supply our wants and needs so often that we forget that they might run out if we don't use them properly. We damage our environment by not properly managing our own waste, therefore putting ourselves at risk as well. Eventually, if this keeps up, we would run out of resources to use. Societies would crumble and the environment would wither. At first glance, our actions may seem irreversible at this point in time, but I assure you that there is still hope. We might not be able to bring back the resources we consume, but we can still conserve and protect the ones we still have for the future generations. There are a lot of ways to conserve our resources, and there are a lot of ways to protect them as well. All we have to do is work together as a community to have an impact, because individually, we may not be able to change anything at all, but as a collective, we can save the world. Thank you very much for listening to my TED Talk.